Okay, we left out at 2015. Got back to Odessa.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so wife Brenda,
Right.
and then was that grown children?
Yeah, I've got 3 grown children in the area. So all my grandchildren are around me too, which is really nice. And I've got 9 of those. And you get to see them quite often, which is really nice. I can't imagine being somewhere where I couldn't be around them.
All right, and so you're an OHS graduate?
Yes, 77.
And from there, did you go on to school or?
Yeah, I started out as a computer programmer and worked for MFA Oil Company in Colombia for not very long. And they had a downsizing. This was 1981 and the economy wasn't real great. And I was the new hire. So pretty quickly I had to find a new job and I had to leave. So I was already in the Army National Guard. So I did a conditional release to the active duty Army. And tough choice to make, but it had to be done. I had to leave my wife and my brand new son behind and go on a new career path.
All right. And retired?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you retire from?
I spent most of my time in sales of some sort. I was an area manager for a mattress firm. I did foundation recovery work, sales position for that, but mostly it was sales management, that type of thing. Prior to that, I stayed in the medical technology field, which was what I was trained in the military. But when the scares with AIDS and all of that came out, I changed career paths because I just didn't want to be around that environment anymore.
All right. And organizations that you're a part of?
I am the state chair for Kairos Prison Ministry International. We have 5 state chapters, and I chair those chapters, the state chapter that oversees those chapters. And that's it. That's really the only other thing I focus on as part of an organization that I belong to is that prison ministry.
Church?
I don't have a church home. I'm not a member of any church, but I go to different churches, yes.
And still with the garden club, or?
I'm not a member of the garden club, but I kind of helped found the garden club. Now, Donna Ehlert, remember Donna? She is actually the biggest component of that. She did most of the legwork on that, but I helped kind of set that up and got that rolling a little bit. But I've never been a member. But I'm always willing to contribute with seminars about beekeeping and those things. You know, and if they need any help, they want me to speak on any topic, pollinators or any of that. And I'm an avid gardener, so.
All right. And this is the end of your first term.
Yeah.
And before that, you were an alderman.
Yeah, Ward 2 for 3 years.
And then, was there any other previous board service?
No.
Or? Okay.
No.
All right. So why are you running for another term?
We've got a lot of consistency now. We've got great momentum. And, you know, I just want to do what I can to preserve and protect that. We're in a good place. We really are. And it's hard to see from the outside, but some people have seen that from the outside, especially with the community engagement and such. I'm a big advocate of community engagement, and that'll be my focus in the next term. And I want to stay mayor so that I can see that through. It takes about 18 months to 2 years just to get momentum built and to get to learn exactly what you're supposed to be doing and chart a course and get things going the direction you want it to go to. It would be, I think it would be unfair to the city administrator and the finance director for me to bow out at this point, because that would push the reset button. And anytime the reset button is pushed, I believe quite frankly, the city loses, and I don't want the city to lose. I don't want the community to lose. I want to keep moving forward. And I would just like to have an opportunity to continue that momentum.
All right. And what do you feel makes you a good mayor?
Probably that I listen. I talk to a lot of people and I listen. And I don't care if you want to chew my rear end or whether you've got praise to give. I listen. Again, I'm very committed to community engagement, transparency, and all that goes with the communication. That was what I ran on when I ran for mayor the first time, was better communication. I saw a need for that, and that's been my focus. And I think I've succeeded in a big way, in a lot of, making those goals happen.
All right. And how do you feel about the city's current direction?
I think it's good. I think there's always room for improvement, but I think overall we're in a really good place. I think the city administrator is doing a very good job. Have there been hiccups? Absolutely. Mistakes made? Yes. There will be that in any administration that comes along. There just will be. But they've handled the hurdles they've faced very well. And I just think they're doing a fantastic job.
All right. And how would you describe your vision for Odessa?
Well, we have the 5-year strategic plan, and that is going to dictate a lot of the vision for Odessa. It's got there's progress guidelines that go with that. The vision for Odessa is strong. We've got annexations happening north of the city, soon to be south of the city. We're going to have a lot of homes built within the next 4 years or so, 3 to 4 years. Growth is coming, and that's a good thing. That brings revenues up, but we've got a plan for the growth. We need industry. We need, that's part of the vision for the city is industry. Get good paying jobs in Odessa and give people a reason to shop in Odessa. That revenue that's taken out of Odessa doesn't do anything for our infrastructure. It does for Oak Grove, at the Walmart. It does for Green Valley. With Price Chopper, we need that money to stay here. So we're hopeful to get a grocery store in here real soon. That's another part of the vision, is to get a grocery store in Odessa. And we've got Brenda Oliver and Bill Eakey are doing a fantastic job trying to entice a developer, but there's just hurdles that have come with that. The interchange was a big hurdle. Now we know where that's going to be. So it's more promising than it was to get a grocery store in Odessa.
All right. And what issues do you feel are most important to the city right now?
Secondary water source. We have got to get a secondary water source. The wells almost flooded out that one year, and we've got to get that fixed. We got to get industry in this town. And we have to, my opinion is we have to get a police facility in Odessa. We currently don't have a police facility. We got the old shop that happens to house the police department. That's not a proper police facility, and the community needs one.
Do you support the plan as it's been brought forward for the police station?
Yes, I do. And the biggest reason I do is because That plan was brought forward by the citizens of Odessa. The police facility focus group did a fantastic job. Um, so the ballot language that is written came directly from what they put together and thought their fellow citizens would back. So because it came from the citizens, I'm very appreciative of their efforts, and I support it 100%.
All right. Any other issues you wanted to go over?
Not really.
I've got a list.
Good. Let's go with your list. And if I happen to think anything, I'll chime in afterwards.
Okay. Absolutely.
All right.
So you took the first one on the list, which was the police station.
Yeah.
So the next one that I'm going over with everybody is the use tax.
Okay. You got to understand my position. I hate taxes. I absolutely. If you had to label me, I'd be a libertarian. I just don't like taxes. But I understand there are some taxes that are for the greater good, and they're a funding mechanism for things that can't get funded otherwise. We're in a place in Odessa where we need our streets taken care of. We need sidewalks in town. And the only funding mechanism that is feasible would be the use tax. And because it's not a new tax, I'm okay with it. If you say shop local and support local business, and you don't support the use tax, quite frankly, in my mind, you're a hypocrite, because it levels the playing field. I wish they could call it something else besides a tax, but since it is, it is collecting a tax, it has to be labeled that way. But it's more of a way the citizens can invest in their community.
All right. And then the next one is the county's use tax initiative.
Not a fan. I want to be a fan, not a fan. I believe it'll take too much money away from Odessa. There's a risk of that, and I no.
All right. And is Odessa ready to grow?
Yes and no. Yes, in the fact that we need the growth. We need the residents to the new homes to come in and provide a revenue source in the way of taxes, et cetera. But no, in that we don't have the infrastructure fully in place to grow. For instance, industry. If we're growing industry, we need to prepare for that. There are changes that need to be made along Main, and we can get there. It's not that we can't. We're just not ready at this moment, but we could do that pretty quickly. We could get there. But somebody came in today and said, we want to put in a huge industry here. We'd have to take a minute, pause, and just determine how we can best do that. We're not already ready to go with that. It would take a little bit to get there. As far as residential growth, yeah, we're ready for that. Now, what really makes us ready for that in the southwest portion is the ARPA dollar spent on the wastewater project, which is nearing completion. That's really going to help us out in that area, especially if the new school is going out there, and they're going to need that.
All right. And do you feel that the city has done a good enough job of completing projects in the last several years?
I'm trying to think of the projects that we've completed. There have been several. I'd say, with the exception of the sidewalk project, yes. Sidewalk project took entirely too long, but it couldn't be helped. There are a lot of hurdles involved with that. And, you know, our city administrator and previous administrator did everything they could to move the process along as efficiently as possible. But the bureaucracy just got in the way, and a lot of hurdles came into play. And I will say our city administrator handled those hurdles very, very well, along with Navigate Building Solutions, who assisted with the project management of that. They were well worth the monies. They actually saved us money. They probably paid for themselves. So that was a good call to bring them in.
Your opponent is calling for a public works director to be added to the city.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I'm a fan of the public works director. It would take a tremendous burden off our city administrator, finance director.
All right. And how do you feel about the city's commercial utility rates?
Quite frankly, they're too high. And we've got the electric rate study implemented to hopefully find a way to reduce those.
But you're supporting reducing them?
Yes, absolutely. As long as it doesn't mess up, put too much of the burden on residential. We have to look at a way to incentivize businesses to come to Odessa. And one of those ways to do that is to find a way to reduce the electric rates for commercial.
Are there other things you would like to see done to entice businesses?
Working with the Downtown Collective more. They're doing a great job. The facade grant came from the city to the Downtown Collective. That has not been awarded yet. I'd like to see that awarded soon, and I think it will be, to make the businesses look better. So I think there's ordinances that need to be written. One in particular would be, for instance, a vacant building registry. I think we need to look into a vacant building registry for these some of these businesses that are just sitting there, nothing happening in them. They're a risk to the businesses next door to them. They need to be able to be accessed and inspected, so that there's not anything that would, potentially damage the buildings next to them, mold, etc. Fire inspections and this and that. But if you're not going to do business and open that business up for retail, then you need to be on a registry that incentivizes you doing that.
All right. Which kind of goes into, do you feel this?
One more. I talked with Sean a lot about this. We need to get the existing building codes, the IEBC building codes, incorporated into our, not using just the IBC codes for new construction. There are existing building codes that can be used that you don't sacrifice safety, but they relax a lot of the strict regulations on existing buildings. Because some of these old historic buildings, there's not much you can do with those. That you can't do what you would normally do because of the age of the building. It's just not possible. So in order to relax some of this code but keep the safety in them, the IEBC codes might be helpful for that.
Okay. Anything else you feel the city needs to do more to support businesses?
The one thing I think that I would have mentioned was within the community development to have a faster response, but we fixed that with Jenny. Jenny is on it, Jenny Neal, and I think the best thing we can do in community development is do more things online, get an online permitting process, much like they have in Oak Grove, and get that more streamlined. But she's doing a very good job. She's really fixed a lot of issues that were there. And is that actually picking him up?
It's not. So we're gonna go ahead.
Okay.
I was like, is this gonna? Is it not? It's not. According to what I'm looking at.
Okay.
So, were there any other issues that you did think of?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Given long enough, I probably could, but.
All right.
Yeah.
So that just takes me to the magic wand question.
Oh, the magic wand.
You can change one thing about Odessa. What would it be?
That people that stir the pot would think about what they're doing before they do so. Anytime that you intentionally cause trouble, controversy, drama, whatever, that upsets what would be normally a calm condition, has damaging effects. I wish they'd think twice before they stirred the pot. There's an old saying, the person that stirs the pot should have to lick the spoon. I would support that. But I find a darkness about it. It just doesn't set with me at all. And I don't trust people that do it. And I wish they just think about what they're doing before they do it.
All right. Anything else you think people need to know about you or about the city to understand you as a candidate for re-election?
I love this city more than they can possibly imagine. The only reason you stay at a mayor is because of your true love for the city. Because there are negatives that go with this. I'll end it there, but it's not easy. It's not nearly what I thought it would be, to be honest with you. I didn't think the pressure would be as much as it is. I'm handling it well. I'm doing fine. But I do it because I truly love this city.
All right. That's all I've got for you.